everyone, Eric here with a review on the G610 X-Copter. This is supposed to be one of the easiest, most crash resistant helicopters out there, and let's put it to the test. I'm going to do a quick unboxing, a flight review, and then at the end I'll show you how to set up the remote. Alright, you got your manual, and then pretty much everything's right here. You get extra blades. Now this is an infrared helicopter, so you really are only going to be able to fly it inside unless you fly it at night. And your range on this one's going to be very limited. This is pretty much an indoor flyer. I've flown these coaxial helicopters before, and they are incredibly easy to fly. Basically, one blade is going to fly in one direction, the other one's going to fly in the other, and it is a 3-channel, so you can go up, down, forward, reverse, and it doesn't fly sideways. Like for example, this is the E010, which I also reviewed. This one is going to be a 4-channel where it can fly sideways, front, back, and then go up and down. And this is another great option if you are going to be flying this around pets or children and you're worried about the blades hitting them. Then this is a really good, easy to fly quadcopter. Just slightly more difficult than this one, and you can check that review out in the description down below. And this is your helicopter. And if you notice the blades spin freely, that's how they're supposed to be. You don't want to over tighten them to the point where they're stiff, because then they'll crack when you crash. So overall, you know, no metal in the body, which is going to make it a little bit lighter. So let's go ahead and crash this thing and see if we can break it. But first, we'll go over the remote. Here's your remote. It takes, I believe, 6 AA batteries, and that is because you can charge it from the remote. So you do have a little USB port, or you can just plug this into a laptop or like a cell phone charger, anywhere really that has a USB port. And then you also have a really bright light in the back if you want to fly this at night, and a little light in the front. Let's go ahead and see if we can crash this thing and break it, really see how durable it is. We're not going to fly it inside. I'm going to fly it outside so I can crash into some concrete. I don't want to be dinging up my walls, but that's going to really put it to the test and determine how durable this thing really is. All right, right now it's flying on its own. I don't even have to touch the controls at all. And you know what's interesting about this is when it loses reception, so if I point the controller away from it, it'll slowly go down. See if I can do it. It'll basically slowly land itself. So, and then right now it got back in reception. It's kind of a cool little safety feature about this helicopter. So let's go ahead and try to crash it and see how durable it is. Into the ceiling, into the wall. Okay, so after a couple crashes, really there's just a couple nicks on the tips of the blades. Other than that, things in really good condition, so let's keep on crashing. So this thing is definitely dirty, but it's all in shape. So these things don't really fly that fast, the coaxial helicopters. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a tilt when I take it off, and that should give it a lot of force towards the wall. More force than you would experience, you know, if a beginner flyer was flying it. So let's go ahead and boom. All right, so very crash resistant. One of the biggest complaints people have is, you know, they don't want to buy these little toy helicopters because you crash them once and they're done for, but they've come a long way. And this is definitely one of the most durable little helicopters out there. And as you can see, the frame just has scuff marks. There's no cracks. The blades, these are the original blades, even after crashing it over and over again into a concrete wall and accelerated crashing. I mean, this is just hitting the wall harder than you would hit it anywhere in your house or if you're flying outside. So very, very durable helicopter. This thing's going to withstand a ton of crashing, but it is an infrared helicopter, so you're not going to be able to fly it in the sun. You're going to get very limited range because it is working off light and the receiver is actually at the bottom. Okay, and to bind it to your transmitter, you got your on button on your transmitter and then your on button on your helicopter. What you're going to do is bring your throttle up, bring it down, and you're ready to go. And then over here, you have your A, B, and C, and what that is that just changes the frequency of the helicopter. So if you're flying with more than one, you can change that. You can turn off the light right here. That'll just turn off the lights on the bottom of the helicopter. And then over here, you have a speed button, so you can change the speed. And then you also have your trim up here. So that trim is just going to adjust your yaw. So if you take off and your helicopter is kind of spinning like this, you can keep turning that and adjusting it until it's hovering perfectly. Okay, and a quick tip on making your helicopter last even longer is to bring the throttle down every single time it crashes. Or if it ever flips on its side and the blades can't spin freely, you always want to have the throttle down. The reason being is because there's a big plastic gear that's connected to the motor. So the gears are basically making the rotor spin, and if you try to force those and they can't move, the motor's just going to keep moving them, and it's going to eventually strip the gears. So that's kind of a reason why a lot of people's helicopters eventually stop working, is because the internal components get broken. But a really easy way to prevent that from happening is just bring the throttle down every time the blades are not able to spin freely. Okay, and that is my review on the G610 X-Copter. Extremely durable. If you guys did like this one, I included a link in the description down below. If you found the video helpful, I always appreciate those thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with my future reviews. Thanks, guys. And if you do have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below. I'll do my best to get back to everyone.